Fox News alert. There's a manhunt underway for the shooter who left 2 dead and 9 wounded at Brown University Saturday. Students were holding a study session for finals when a masked man entered the lecture hall armed with a long gun and started firing. Here's an eyewitness.
I was standing in the front, so as soon as he walked in, he immediately saw me and I immediately saw him. And then I look to my right and I see a bunch of students running down the stairs, running out the door, jumping on the ground, just whatever it takes to stay alive. When I saw him, I saw a gun. I genuinely thought, like, okay, this is the end of the road for me.
How soon did he start shooting after he entered the room?
He just started shooting right away. There was no hesitation.
That guy and about 20 other students ducked behind a long desk inside the auditorium and just waited for the gunshots to stop. The AP says around 40 rounds were fired. This went down around 4:05 Saturday afternoon in Rhode Island. Brown University didn't send out an alert until 17 minutes later, telling students to shelter in place. And not a single one of the sirens on campus went off. Apparently, the Providence police and campus safety officers didn't make it to the scene of the crime in time to apprehend the shooter. Students were locked down for 9 hours, crouching underneath desks, barricading themselves behind their beds, texting "I love you" to their family, while police went door to door.
Police! Providence police! Hands up, hands!
At 6 a.m. the following day, Brown lifted the lockdown. One of the victims was 19-year-old sophomore Ella Cook. She was the vice president of Brown's Republican Club, an Alabama native who was a devout Christian. Her pastor described her as a tremendous bright light, and she may have been the most prominent Republican on campus. Brown's considered the most liberal of all the Ivy League schools, so any members of the college Republicans would be very well known.
The family of Ella Cook, the Alabama young woman who was a sophomore, has been told that she was the target of what happened at Brown. I have no idea whether that's true.
And the other thing is, if the police are telling Brown students that they are safe, they don't have to shelter in place anymore, but they don't have a suspect in custody, I think that also suggests that this was some kind of targeted attack.
Well, we haven't confirmed that yet, but Primetime's investigating. We're also hearing that the shooter may have screamed something before he opened fire. We haven't confirmed that, and police have been very coy.
There's a report the shooter yelled something right before his shot came in. Could you tell us what that was?
Yeah, it's part of the investigation.
Is there anything else inside that auditorium that you could tell us?
No,
Did he yell though? Did he say something?
That's something that we're investigating. We took statements and we have to confirm.
Is there any audio from the scene? Any cell phones? There are a lot of cell phones there.
We're gonna wrap it up here.
So a guy walks into an Ivy League building, lets off 40 rounds, murders 2 people, walks out, and 3 days later, we have no idea where he is or who he is. I guess we're assuming it's a he, but we don't even know that for sure. And police won't even say if it's a man or a woman. Police thought they had their suspect, a white Army veteran.
Now someone's in custody. Kind of how you all are working together to garner that information.
Custody is the wrong word.
Someone being detained, rather.
Correct.
But late last night, they said, oops, wrong guy.
Shortly, we will be releasing the person of interest who had been detained earlier today.
Providence Mayor Brett Smiley isn't even sure releasing this guy was the right call.
So you're absolutely convinced the person of interest had nothing to do with this?
We're not saying that definitively. What we're saying is that after a review of the evidence that was gathered, it was determined that the person of interest needed to be released.
CBS is reporting that investigators had to restart the investigation after early missteps that cost them several hours. As things stand tonight, Rhode Island doesn't seem to have any leads. The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for any tips that could lead to an arrest. And moments ago, officials held a presser to release new images of the suspected shooter, sporting all black threads with a beanie and a face mask, walking on a sidewalk in the vicinity of the shooting. This was recorded a couple hours before the shooting, so it looks like it was premeditated and this person was casing the area. These are the clearest surveillance videos that we have so far, and there's not much to go on. All I can say is we can probably rule out a black guy. We're looking at a chubby white, Hispanic, or Muslim male, about medium height. Even with the new surveillance out, the police won't tell us anything.
Is there a new description you can give us?
There is, and it will be on that poster that we're going to be releasing on the images.
Okay, so millions of people were watching the police chief live, and he said he'd put it out online. Why wouldn't he just tell us? Well, we checked online, and 2 hours later, he said the suspect is light-skinned and stocky. Brown University has over 800 security cameras across campus. Cameras are located in campus buildings and walkways and public streets, but not a single camera got a clear shot of this guy going into the building or leaving the building. And Police Chief Oscar Perez has been confused from the jump.
Brown University is the most camera-ridden, most conscious piece of real estate in Rhode Island, and yet there seems to be little or no video evidence outside of that clip. Is there a lot more video that we're just not able to see yet because of the ongoing investigation, or is there simply no video?
So what we shared with you the other day is what we have.
Okay. We have high-resolution cameras for speeding tickets, but not for mass shooters at Ivy League schools. Brown's tuition is $70,000 a year. The school's endowment is $8 billion. And someone just walked on campus, murdered 2 students, and got away. And the president of the university is playing catch-up.
President, with all due respect, 6 hours after the shooting, and you said you don't know what was going on in that classroom, how does that happen? Were they taking an exam? Were they meeting for a club?
I don't know. I don't know.
6 hours later, you're the president, and you don't know.
I do not know.
So, that's kind of concerning.
Trump says Brown dropped the ball, but the FBI is there if they need them.
They had their own guards, they had their own police, they had their own everything, but you'd have to ask that question really to the school, not to the FBI. We came in after the fact.
The FBI doesn't have jurisdiction over this case. When the locals ask for help, they'll help, but the locals are running this investigation. And even the local media has had it with their leadership.
President Donald Trump has said that Brown University is to blame for this shooting, saying it's the school's problem. Is that a fair criticism, or do you disagree with what the president said?
I don't think it's fair criticism.
Colonel, can you expand on that?
Why not? Because Brown University is not collaborating with you guys. You're lying to the press over here. They have facial recognition. We know that because they follow the students, they follow everybody in the neighborhood. Facial recognition. They need to release that data to everybody know who the guy is in video. We got the video Saturday. Why you guys release the video today?
I think I answered the question.
Wow. It's been 72 hours. This guy could be anywhere by now. The FBI is going to have to come in and do their thing. But Providence is on edge. They're being told to remain calm, but don't have a lot of confidence in city officials.
There's been no new, credible, specific threat anywhere in the Providence community.
With respect, Mayor, there was no threats made prior to the shooting, so how can people feel safe with that information?
The way in which we are trying to reassure our residents is through a noted, visible police presence throughout the community.
The shooter could still be in Providence, or he could be in Virginia. Mayor Smiley says he went to go look for him at a pizza joint and grabbed a slice while he was on the clock.
I talked to one of the women at Antonio's, which some of you know is a pizza by the slice joint, and she said, I didn't want to come to work today, but I needed to work. I needed to take the shift, and that's a very real thing happening in our community right now.
The best video we have of this guy is a Ring camera shot where you can't see his face, but Mayor Smiley says he just wants to go to bed.
Everyone you see behind us, we've all been working for now 49 hours. We're tired.
Tired? 2 students are dead, 9 in the hospital, and you have no clue what happened. Smiley wasn't tired when he was marching for gay pride or fighting Trump.
The question is whether actions like this will actually help us get to zero. I don't think they will. Community policing works. Having local law enforcement with a relationship with the neighborhoods that they are policing and patrolling works. Sending in National Guards men and women who have not been trained in urban policing, are not trained community police officers, isn't going to make our cities any safer.
Imagine if they had the National Guard in Providence. That shooter probably wouldn't have opened fire. The Rhode Island Attorney General, all he does is sue Trump and resist ICE. And his office is completely out of control. His assistant is the lawyer who got intoxicated last summer and assaulted officers, remember?
I don't want to arrest you guys.
You're not going to arrest us. I'm an AG. I'm an AG.
Good for you. I don't give a
I'm an AG. I'm an AG. I'm an AG. But you're going to regret this.
Yeah.
You're going to regret it. I'm an AG.
What kind of office is this guy running? Families want answers. Hundreds of students just fled campus. The city's on a brink, and the locals are whining that they're tired. Every day the manhunt goes on, the less likely it is to get justice. Let's hope they crack this case. If you have any information, please reach out to the FBI and the Providence Police Department.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.